how long have you been teaching here at Nanhua?
When?
How long have you been teaching at Nanhua?
Almost about 15 years.
Wow. Oh, Nanhua is lucky.
Wow. Why?
Because if you stay with them for that long, that means, okay, maybe I should say Nanhua, it must be a very good school.
Yeah.
Yes.
I used to stay in a university which is based on the Christianity.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one?
Zhenli.
Okay, but also in Taiwan. I'm from California, so I don't really know.
Oh, I see.
Where is that? Is it in Taiwan?
Yeah, also in Taiwan. To stay there for 2 years,
Okay.
but I just transferred my position to this university.
You'll be there for 15 years. Yeah. The temporary development. So this is very, for me, this is interesting. The word contemporary.
So the time is 9 o'clock to beginning. Okay.
Okay, breathe. This is even a form of Dashway we do this one.
Yeah, I see. I see. So we don't have a statue or
No, it's to meet you. Good morning, Professor. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
They don't do this. Oh, no, I know why they don't do this at the office. For you has a Buddhist studies department.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
yes.
for us, this university is a secular university, so we rarely to
do that.
make greeting to.
Yeah. I think that's a difference. Yes, yeah. It has a Buddhist department.
Okay.
Yeah, we can start. We can start. Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can start.
So, if everyone is prepared to begin this seminar, so we can start it now. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to meet you at this beautiful campus. Today we were talking about the topic of mindfulness. So begin our topic. Have everyone ever heard about this word, this term, mindfulness? Yes? Yeah, mindfulness. That is a term originated from the Buddhist teaching. So I suppose all of you are very nowhere about this term. But in today's topic, there's some kind of difference from the traditional Buddhism. We are talking about mindfulness, which originated from with the word. Okay. So I named the title today "The Era of Mindfulness." Mindfulness is contemporary development. Okay, let's just following this PPT to make all of you to know where about this topic. First, I should introduce myself. My name is REC01. Now I teaching in the Graduate Institute of Religion Studies in Nanhua University. Actually, my major is the Buddhism, especially in the field of the early Buddhism. So I also teach the Bali language, as well as the Sanskrit language. Okay.
Wow. You're a student?
So few minutes ago, you mentioned to make a greeting to teacher. Maybe we should do some Bali chanting.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's good. Professor, something easy, yes?
Okay. To show the respect to the Buddha.
Okay.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato, Arahato, Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa, Bhagavato, Arahato, Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa, Bhagavato, Arahato, Samma Sambuddhassa. Thank you.
Thank you. The first 5 words I spoke.
That means to salute to the REC01, the Buddha, the exact is the enlightened one. Okay. So, so today I want to just spend about 3 hours to make a very briefly history on the mindfulness and what happened in contemporary world. So I make some content for you. At first, I will talk about a very short history of mindfulness from the Hinduism, Buddhism, and to the modern world. Then I will show you about how to, what kind of reason or what kind of knowledge based in the Buddhism mindfulness. And then I will talking about the modern Western scholar. His name is Dr. John Kabat-Zinn. He took about maybe 40 years to make a development of mindfulness in the Western world. And then I will show all of you about the various modern mindfulness-based approaches. And then I will talk more about what kind of modern mindfulness-based approach in Taiwan and so on. By the way, if the time is available, I also will show you some practice. Yeah. So I hope this kind of topic won't be boring. Okay. So let's turn to the first page. Okay. At first, they were talking about the mindfulness. Here I make a PPT for you to show the briefly definition of mindfulness. In the modern Western scientific view, the mindfulness is the psychological process of bringing one's attention to the internal and external experiences, which are occurring in the present moment, which can be developed through the practice of meditation and other training. And the term mindfulness is a translation of the Pali term sati, which is a significant element of some Buddhist traditions. And the recent popularity of mindfulness in the West is generally considered to have been initiated by John Kabat-Zinn. Since we're talking about the term mindfulness, we also can make a very clearly comparison to the Chinese character. In the Chinese character, when talking about the noun, the term noun.
Professor, I think there's a marker.
Oh yeah.
I see.
So you remind me. In Chinese, we use the term to describe the noun. The noun. Okay. So he was pronounced by the nian. But this word can be divided into 2 parts. The
up part, the upper part.
Yeah. Now. And the bottom is the mind.
Okay.
So this word is mindfulness, but for Chinese character, it means our mind stay in now, living now in now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the original meaning for the mindfulness. Okay. So we're talking about the mindfulness. That means we are awakened just for this moment. So if I am speaking, I know I am speaking. If I touch the paper, I know I'm touched the paper. This is the mindfulness, the origin meaning. Okay. So the large-based research study have indicated that the practice of mindfulness is strongly correlated with the greater well-being and perceived health. And this applicable to society at large, as well as specific settings such as the workplace and school. Studies have also shown that rumination and worry contributed to the mental illnesses such as depression and anxiety, and that mindfulness-based interventions are effective in the reduction of both rumination and worry. Since we're talking about some word correlated with the psychology, when we're talking about the rumination, what does that mean, rumination?
Repeatedly thinking about the past.
Yeah. For example, when I see the paper, that will remind me to remember some past time I was hurt by somebody. So once I see this paper, it will remind me, well, I'm hurt. Yeah, just like a washing machine, just running again, and never stop it. Okay, this is rumination. So most of people, they not living in this moment, but living in the past. Even rumination about some unhappy or suffering thing, or might be living in the future because he has so many expectations for others, for myself, for my family, some kind like that. So in the Western world, they use the mindfulness technique as the tool to treat, to cure some illness. Okay, just like the rumination or depression, anxiety. If we can stay and live in this moment, then our mind will never wander in the past, also as well as in the future. Okay, so for the modern West world, they treat the mindfulness as kind of tool or technique of psychological therapy. Okay, but nothing religion and nothing to do with the religion. Okay, let's come back to the page. Clinical psychology and charity since the 1970s have developed a number of therapeutic applications based on mindfulness for helping people who are experiencing a variety of psychological conditions. Also, mindfulness practice being employed in psychology to alleviate the variety of mental and physical conditions, such as bringing about the reduction in depression symptoms, reducing stress and anxiety, and in the treatment of drug addiction. Recent studies demonstrate that the mindfulness meditation significantly attenuate pain through multiple unique mechanisms. It has gained worldwide popularity as the distinctive method to handle emotions. So since we're talking about the drug addiction, as I'm aware, when you read the paper, we know about the Philippines. So many disasters about the drug addiction. But I think life is not isolated phenomenon. Especially in Taiwan, we also face this kind of dilemma. For recent months, I every week will go to the jail once, and to teach the prisoner who are suffered by the drug addiction, and talk to them about the Buddha's teaching, and talk to them to watching their breathing and meditation. It's very useful to those who suffer by the drug addiction. So I think it's a very good way to make them find a new life. Okay. Clinical study have documented both physical and mental health benefits of mindfulness in different patient categories, as well as in health, adults and children. Also, program based on the MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, and a similar model have been widely adopted in school, prison, hospital, and veterans center and other environment. So this is a very short, brief introduction about the mindfulness. Maybe we can take, if any question, also can raise your hand to make a more close discussion. No? Okay.
Oh, I am curious because I just know the Buddhist mindfulness, not the mindfulness. This is a Western, so that's why I am interested because I just know the Buddhist side, traditional contemplation.
Okay.
I'm very curious.
So we next we go to the next session about the new chapter. As we know well about the introduction we just mentioned, the mindfulness developed in the Western world. Now we turn back to the original tradition to talk more about what happened in the ancient world. So in this chapter, I will show you a very short history of mindfulness. So this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 page to talking about the mindfulness in ancient world. Okay. Here at the positive psychology program, we have been discussing several different aspects of mindfulness for the past few weeks. In particular, we have explored various ways to learn about the mindfulness practice, and even where to study the art or teaching mindfulness to others. But where the mindfulness came from, and why have so many people in the West recently become interested in it? There's no easy answer to this question, but one solution is to trace the lineage of mindfulness from early Eastern religion to its modern secular presence in the Western science. So in this article, I will cover mindfulness, its roots in Hinduism and Buddhism, how it relates to yoga, and how came to popular in so many circles in the Western world. Then we also will discuss the most relevant aspect of mindfulness for our purpose, which is to show fit in the field of positive psychology. Okay. So at first we're talking about the history of origin of mindfulness in Hinduism. For the modern West psychology or scientists, the mindfulness is a practice involved in various religion and secular traditions, from Hinduism and Buddhism. Also to yoga and more recently non-religion meditation. Okay, people have been practicing mindfulness for thousands of years, whether by itself or as part of a larger tradition. This article will cover some of the Eastern traditions which have embraced mindfulness, as well as how it has become popular in the West. In general, it can be said that mindfulness was mostly popularized in the Eastern religion and the spiritual institution, while the West, its popularity can be traced to particular people and secular institution. Of course, even the secular tradition mindfulness in the West owes its roots to the Eastern religion and even certain practitioners of the Eastern religions. This is where any discussion of the history of mindfulness should begin. So, before we begin, a quick note. Some commentators argue that the history of mindfulness should not be reduced to Buddhism and Hinduism. And mindfulness also has roots in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Okay, I think in this point there are some different aspects toward the mindfulness. Because for the Buddhists, we also think about the mindfulness. It should be belong to the Buddha's teaching. But for the most of the modern Western people, when they use the term mindfulness, is reference to the different religion tradition, including about the Islam or Judaism, something like that. Okay, that said, the most modern Western practitioner and teacher of mindfulness learned about the mindfulness in the Buddhism and Hindu tradition. So this article will focus on mindfulness from the Buddhist and Hindu perspective. This should not take a denial of mindfulness rules in the other religions, and the interested readers are encouraged to seek out information about mindfulness and as it pertains to those other religions. One possible starting point came from this author, Lisa Atkin, a clinical psychologist and practitioner Christian. Through this, just one of many options. Okay, so let's turn to the main content. Okay, we're talking about mindfulness. Hinduism also has his roots. Hinduism is widely considered to be the oldest extant religion in the world, but it's hard to define its history. That's because it initially arose as a synthesis of many religious traditions around the historical region that now make our Indian. In another word, Hinduism has no single founder and no concrete starting point. In fact, the religious tradition was not even called Hinduism or considered single identity until the British writer started calling Vedic tradition Hinduism in the 1800s. With it all, let's say the earliest tradition which have since been incorporated into Hinduism arose more than 4,000 years ago in the Indus Valley in what is now Pakistan. This is why Hinduism is considered the oldest religion in the world. The religion tradition continued to develop in Vedic writing 2,500 to 3,500 years ago. This writing in the brief history of Hinduism, mindfulness origin includes rituals and the worship of the gods common to the modern day Hinduism. Okay, so about the 1,500 to 2,500 years ago, more texts were composed, which are now involved in the present day Hinduism, including the text introducing the concept of Dharma and temple worship. Where this religious tradition continued to develop, they were already pretty recognizable as Hinduism by this time. And Hinduism experienced some competition in India a few hundred years ago with the rise of Islam, but the 19th century reformers revitalized Hinduism and helped tie it to the nation identity of India. And one of the reasons this was initially successful was because middle classes Indians started identifying with Hinduism around the mid-19th century. This connection was solidified about 100 years later with the Indian independence movement. And the mindfulness has been intervened with Hinduism for millennia. From the Bhagavad Gita, this is a text from ancient India, discussing yoga to Vedic meditation, and the history of Hinduism read in a part-like history mindfulness. Of course, is only a partial history, and another true player in the history of mindfulness is Buddhism. It should be noted, however, that even Buddhism itself owes a great depth to Hinduism. So, even we're talking about the mindfulness in Hinduism, we have to know, for me, in my study, when I'm talking about the mindfulness, it was mostly based on the Buddhism. But the Buddhism also has some depth, or it also has some foundation from Hinduism. So they are correlated. Okay, let's take a very soon look to the Buddhism. I think this chapter might be important than last chapter. Compared to Hinduism, Buddhism history is much more well defined. Buddhism was found around 400 to 500 BCE by Siddhartha Gautama, who was referred to as the Buddha from then on. Gautama is Buddha's name. It might be his last name. Okay, Gautama is thought to have been born and raised around modern-day India and Nepal. Based on where and when Gautama was raised, it is said to say that many Hinduist teachings informed his upbringing. In fact, Buddhism and Hinduism share many commonalities. The most obvious is the one mentioned above. They both arose in the same region. Beyond that, both Buddhism and Buddhism are greatly concerned with the concept of Dharma. So when we're talking about the Dharma, it also refers to the Hinduism and also to the Buddhism, because the Dharma is the main concept for all the Indian. Dharma, a concept that is very difficult to define or translate it, but include a way of life that is in harmony with the natural order of the universe. Despite the shared present Dharma in both this philosophy religion, Buddhism is definitely not a subject of Hinduism, because Buddhism does not concern itself with the sacred writing of the Veda. Okay. I think I have to make a more explanation about the term, the Dharma. Okay, the Dharma. And when I'm talking about the Dharma, sometimes I will make an example. Have you ever seen about the train? Yes. Yeah, we go anywhere by the train. The train has his rail. Okay, yeah, rail. So the train can go forward because he was supported by the railway, the rail. Okay. Sometimes we're talking about the Dharma. The Dharma, the function just like the rail. he can support the train and make the train to the right purpose. Okay, so for the Hinduism or for Buddhism, they have some meaning. The Dharma means something can support the people's life, and the human beings living taught the sound in a good way to the purpose. Okay. So when talking about the mindfulness, sometimes in Buddhism we are talking about the Dharma. Okay. So in general, Buddhism is a religion. So sometimes considered to be not a necessary religion philosophy. The aim to show its followers the path to the enlightenment. Since the Buddha's lifetime, he has split into several different traditions, including Theravada Buddhism and Zen Buddhism. Okay, so have you ever know about the term Theravada? Okay, that's some kind different from the Mahayana. Okay. Today, Buddhism is probably most often sold by non-practitioners in the term of Tibetan Buddhism, and the Dalai Lama, an individual who is sought to be an enlightened teacher of Tibetan Buddhism. Okay, so mindfulness may be more involved in Buddhism than it is in Hinduism, as mindfulness is considered should be the first step toward enlightenment in Buddhism. In fact, some sources even consider the English word mindfulness to be a simple translation of Buddhist concept of sati. The fact that mindfulness is such a crucial aspect of Buddhism, combined with the fact that many Western influences in the mindful studying under Buddhist teacher, okay, show that the Western mindfulness is largely indebted to Buddhism. So today we're talking about the mindfulness in the Western world meaning, although they have different kind definition for mindfulness, but most of the elements was originated from Buddha's teaching, but there are some difference. Okay. Okay, maybe we can turn faster to the next page. How mindfulness relates to yoga. Okay, today when we're talking about the Western world's mindfulness, they also practice yoga in the courses. So since we're talking about the mindfulness, they have to correlate it from to the yoga. Yoga is related to Hinduism and Buddhism, two religion traditions which are both concerned with mindfulness. Yoga or mindful can also be directly related, as some yoga practice incorporate mindfulness. Some mindfulness meditation practice, such as the body scan, are very similar to yoga, as they both involve awareness of one's body. There's a lot of overlap between mindfulness and yoga, both historical and presently. Okay, here you just mentioned about the body scan and also mentioned about the yoga. Have you ever do some practice of yoga? Just stretch out your arm and act like an animal, to lying down just a dog, or worship to the sunshine. Yeah, okay. But in the ancient world, they practice yoga. They just emphasize on the action of the body. But once we introduce the elements of mindfulness to the yoga, when you are stretching out your body, in this moment, you also can put your mind in the now, in this moment of your body's action. Okay, so they are some correlated. Some yoga practice can even just be considered mindfulness practice, and vice versa. One study examined this idea by measuring mindfulness in people who practice yoga. Okay, so let's turn faster to the next page. I think this might be important. How mindfulness went from east to the west. I don't know how everyone think about this topic. What will happen since the time the West meet the East? For the East people, that might be a disaster because it was colonized by the Western people. They bring their religion to East land and rubber stamp the resources from the East to the West. Okay, but in opposite way, the East also have some effect on the West culture, because the mindfulness is one of the elements which are very deeply make some effect on the West world. So perhaps the biggest influence on bringing in mindfulness from the East to the West, at least recently, was John Kabat-Zinn, founded the Center for the Mindfulness at the University of Massachusetts Medical School and Oasis Institute for Mindfulness-Based Professional Education and Training in it. This is also where Kabat-Zinn developed its mindfulness-based stress reduction, abbreviation by the MBSR program, an 8-week program aimed at anyone looking to reduce their levels of stress. Okay. Kabat-Zinn learned about and studied mindfulness under several Buddhist teachers, including the Thich Nhat Hanh, and very influential and popular figure in the Western mindfulness himself. This gave him an Eastern foundation in mindfulness that he integrated with Western science to develop MBSR. This integration with Western science was a crucial aspect in helping mindfulness gain widespread popularity in the West. So since we're talking about the mindfulness in the West, the first we have to mention is the science. The science is very powerful mainstream for the modern people. Even for today in Taiwan, every time we're talking about the food, the water, and about in the general health policy, we also to recite about the science as the condition and the standard. Okay. So MBSR serves an inspiration for another mindfulness-based therapy program. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy aimed at treating major depression disorder. This and other integration of science and mindfulness help popularize mindfulness in the West, particularly for audience accustomed to the Western science and unfamiliar with the Eastern practice. Okay, so one reason that it took a Westerner to adopt the Eastern tradition for a Western audience is a different worldview that are prevalent in each hemisphere, and entertaining discussion of some of these differences, such an individual versus institutional thinking and psychological versus linear thinking, comes in the form of TED Talk from the Devdutt Patnaik, which can be seen here. And the talk is delivered from an Indian perspective, which is particularly relevant for this subject. And aside from academic science, Jack Canfield, Salon Salzberg, and Joseph Goldstein also play a crucial role in bringing mindfulness to the West. When they found the Insight Meditation Society in 1975, and the IMS helped introduce mindfulness meditation to the West. And the combination of mindfulness meditation and MBSR have popularized mindfulness in the West within the both clinical and non-clinical population. Of course, the IMS is just one of many organizations that have helped popularize mindfulness meditation in the West and in the United States in particular. Maybe we can take faster to some. I want to let you know. We're just talking about the MBSR. That's for us. It might be brand new for Taiwan people because MBSR, the mindfulness-based stress reduction, it is applied in the hospital and the campus to help the people who suffer from the anxiety and depression. So for Western people, they have a various tool to development and to make the people know about the content of MBSR. Here I show you some of the very short clip or video. They can make you know what does that mean MBSR and how to practice MBSR in just 3 minutes.
Humans are natural time travelers. It's true. Now, I'm not talking about the type of time traveling which Neutrino can do. I'm talking about mental time traveling. Check it out.
Okay, Dante. Now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get all the files. Sabrina, there is nothing to argue about. 9 p.m. is your curfew and that's it.
Dad, I'm not a little kid. Millie gets to stay out till 10. You and Mom just don't get it.
Okay, so what do you think, Dante? What? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Moon. I missed that. Gosh darn it, Durango, pay attention. Terrible.
Dante, you'll never believe what happened to me today.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. You know what, Durango? We don't really need you anymore since you're so terrible.
Dante, isn't that great? Dante, did you hear me?
See what I mean? It's possible to leap unconsciously into a future which has yet to happen or slip quickly into the past. The problem is, your time in these realms is often spent ruminating about stressful events. What's more is, you miss out on precious time to grab opportunities, to engage fully in life, and to just be. You miss out, my friends, on the present. So what can you do to savor the here and now? Let's look at an ancient Buddhist practice known as mindfulness. Mindfulness is linked to many benefits.
Hello? Oh, hi. Neutrino sent me here today. I've been kind of stressed out. She said you might be able to help.
Oh, hey Dante, perfect timing. I've been talking about mindfulness.
Oh, well, I don't think I can make my mind blank. No, I'm not like a yoga person. That stuff doesn't work for me.
No problem then, because the goal of mindfulness is certainly not to create a blank slate.
Well, what's it about then?
Have a seat, I'll show you. Now, first things first, relax and close your eyes. Trust me. Now, bring your attention to your breath. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. I want you to engage your senses fully. Notice each sight, touch, and sound within your mind's eye. Your thoughts may wander.
Oh, shucks, I can't do this.
No, you're doing great, Dante. This time, instead of reacting to your thoughts, I want you to pretend you are just an observer watching your thoughts float by without reaction or judgment.
An observer? Okay, I'll try it.
Mindfulness disentangles you from reacting to particular emotions and thoughts as you become a non-judgmental observer of yourself. Mindfulness can be practiced in many different ways. There are meditations, physical practices. You can even practice mindful eating. The important thing to remember is each path is an invitation to wake up, experience the fullness of your life, and to transform not your problems, but your relationship with your problems.
Wow, I was able to think about all my problems without losing it. That was, well, different and good. Thank you.
Anytime, my friend, anytime.
We can see in this video. Wait a moment. In this video, you can see this guy Dante. He always absent mind for his boss talking to him about something.
The human brain is a profoundly complex organ. 90% of its activity.
Wait a moment. Okay. So we can note in this. Okay.
It's possible to leave.
Dante, you'll never believe what happened to me today.
We can see in this video the man Dante, he always absent mind because the mind was absent, not living in the moment. So when the boss talking about something to him, he just like he cannot react correctly. So he was in trouble.
Terrible. You know what, Durango? We don't really need you anymore since you're so...
Okay.
You miss out, my friends. No problem then, because the goal of mindfulness is certainly not to create a blank slate.
Well, what's it about then?
Have a seat, I'll show you. Now, first things first. Relax and close your eyes. Trust me. Now, bring your attention to your breath.
So, you can see in the Western world, they use they invite the people to focus their intentionality to the breathing. That's a very useful way to make some person concentration in the correct way. So it's very simple, okay. But also we can see in this video, there's nothing to do with the religion. It just takes a psychological way to help people to make their life more good and more comfortable. Okay, let's turn to the page we just taken about. Mindfulness role in psychology. Mindfulness plays an important role in both the greater fields of psychology and positive psychology specifically. MBSR and MBCT have become accepted tool for psychologists to train a variety of patients with, showing the usefulness of mindful teaching in traditional psychology. As for the positive psychology, mindfulness meditation has become a useful tool for anyone looking into increase their level of well-being. And the MBSR has also become popular in non-clinical population. Some might even say that psychology and positive psychology have finally started to understand mindfulness teaching in a way that the Eastern tradition have known for millennia. In particular, Western science has now evolved to the point where it can evaluate the effectiveness of practicing mindfulness, and making mindfulness an attractive option for those who are skeptical of Eastern tradition for whatever reason, as mindful can be practiced in many different ways for many different uses. It makes perfect sense as an instrument for any positive psychology practitioner to toolbox. We can to emphasize about this paragraph, this sentence. Making mindfulness an attractive option for those who are skeptical Eastern traditions for whatever reason. When about 40 years ago, Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, they teaching the mindfulness in the hospital of Massachusetts. In the first hindrance is when the Dr. Kabat-Zinn talked to his supervisor, to his boss. So, would you please give me a space for those people who can practice mindfulness? But the boss talking to him, no, I don't want you to say anything about related to the religion. So at that time, John Kabat-Zinn remind John Kabat-Zinn, okay, maybe I should change it to a different way to explain, to make the mindfulness and without the religion words, terms, or meaning. So at the time, they try to make the mindfulness to be suitable for the Western people. So, as we know well in here, why the mindfulness in the Western world is nothing to religion, because for American at that time, 40 years ago, I think the mainstream of religion for America might be the Christianity. I think that's yeah. Even in the paper, in the cash, we can read about "In God We Trust." The U.S. dollar. But you never talking about "In Buddha We Trust." Okay. In fact, a group of research recently attempted to directly integrate mindfulness with positive psychology in an intervention they call the Positive Mindfulness Program. The goal of this study was to combine mindfulness training and positive psychology interventions for the purpose of increasing the well-being of participants. And the research were successful in doing so, showing that positive psychology and mindfulness can easily be combined in the research setting. As if it was not already interesting enough, the entire study were conducted online, showing that positive psychology is an excellent vehicle for bringing the ancient practice of mindfulness into the modern West world. Okay, so but we just mentioned about the positive psychology. What does that mean? The positive psychology. Everything tends to a good way to think. Yeah. Even we are hurt by somebody. Well.
It's a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
Change.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, we have some circle in our brain, in our mind. Somebody told an angry word to me, and then I will raise a circle. It's just following in the habit. When you're talking something words to me, then I will show my heart rate to you. I will reback with my dirty words or some bad action. Okay, but for mindfulness, you can make the circle turn a U-turn, not just following the habit we used to do, but it will create a new U-turn to the different way. Just like that, when I heard something worse or something very sad, but I can choose another way to react with the same condition. Okay. Let's turn to next page. Okay. Mindfulness practice and philosophy. So what is mindfulness, and what does the practice of mindfulness look like? As mentioned above, it could be a yoga practice and will involve mindfulness. It might involve setting aside time for mindfulness meditation sessions, or it could involve practicing mindfulness during everyday activity. Okay, such as the washing the dishes. I have a student. She was graduated from this school. Someday he come back and want me to give him some advice, because he went to the Thailand to the Dhammakaya temple, and to a short-term stay there. Okay, so I say to her, so that's a very good practice to learn mindfulness there. But a few months later, he come back. He also reported what happened in Thailand. One day, the Venerable asked my student to wash the toilet. Yeah, but my student is a musician. He's a piano musician, and he's very proud about his skill of piano. He never do this kind of homework at home. Okay, so when the Venerable talked to her, and so today's lesson is to wash the toilet. In a moment, he cannot accept it, but because of the power of mindfulness, he right now he can see the idea, some idea come from his mind. Oh, I want to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay, but for her, since it's turned about the mindfulness, in that time, I just see the idea, various ideas come from my mind, and show no judgment. Okay, but also keep mindfulness to wash toilet. In that time, he said, "Wow, that's successful, because I can make a transcendent from my habit behavior." Because when she was at home, if her husband asked her to wash the toilet, no. But since he learned about the mindfulness, he can make herself more comfortable to accept the changing world. Okay.
But this one with Thich Nhat Hanh, right? It sounds like it's also a chant.
Uh-huh.
It's a chant practice. Everything is mindfulness.
Yeah, everything is mindfulness.
So this one sounds like
Well, when we sweeping the floor, when we clean up our home, or we talking to somebody by phone, it is also the perfect time to practice mindfulness. Just put our attention in the moment. Okay. We can imagine that if someone, might be your husband or your wife, talking to you, or you talking to her or him, but she or him is absent mind, what will happen in your mind, and what do you think about the time? Yeah. So, in contrary position, when some person talking to me, if we are mindfulness to talking to her or him, and the person will feel very respect from us. Okay. So in fact, we just turn to next paragraph. In fact, mindfulness is so easy for anyone to practice that several different mindfulness exercises can fit into a single breezy path with it. Mindfulness can practice individual as part of a group during a retreat. Okay. Mindfulness can, of course, be practiced for the sole purpose of becoming more mindful, but there are also several mindfulness practices and organizations which are aimed at specific groups of people. One example is the Mindful Warrior Project, which which is just one of the group aimed at helping military veterans use mindfulness to increase their well-being post combat. There are also various groups focused on teaching mindfulness to children, such as the KID program from the Young's mindfulness. Okay, since we're talking about the warriors, the Mindful Warriors Project, we can see the Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. He was a Vietnam monk, and we also about in the World War II, Vietnam was a victim by the so many wars. Okay, the United States government sent their military to the Vietnam to fight with the communists. Okay, but some American soldiers, when they come back to their homeland of America, they were suffered by the experiences because they killed so many people there, including the innocent people there. So in America, some of the projects is designed to help those people who suffer this kind of disease or illness. Okay. So I read a book about Thich Nhat Hanh, Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. He say one day he met the American soldier who are able to kill people in Vietnam, but at a moment, the American soldier he practiced mindfulness and make his mind very, very peaceful. This is not easy way for them. The point is that no matter who you are or what your daily life consists of, there is most likely a mindfulness practice tailored to you. This versatility makes it accessible to all who are willing to learn and put just a little bite of time in. These are key parts of the philosophy of mindfulness. Whether it is practiced religiously or in a secular matter, after all, mindfulness practitioners are all striving for the same thing. Whether they call it mindful awareness or enlightenment, and the very view, if any, mindfulness traditions are based on restricting their teaching to the exclusive group. Okay. Let's turn the next page, this chapter. Okay. Take home message. Okay. We're just talking about the very short history about the mindfulness. Okay. We know when talking about the mindfulness, he was originally from the tradition of hedonism, especially for the Buddhism. But he also was invented by the modern scientific psychology. Okay. So I think let's turn to the very briefly to the Buddhist in mindfulness. Okay. When we're talking about the mindfulness, sati is one mindfulness is the seven factor of enlightenment, correct or right mindfulness. we call them samasati. Is the seventh element of noble eightfold path. And this important factor is mentioned in the 37 Dharma or enlightenment. Okay. I think all this knowledge is all of you are nowhere, right?
No, not necessarily, because like on the Buddhist, yeah.
On the Buddhist.
Yeah, the Buddhist, yeah. I don't think so. Ask them. Do you? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm studying Buddhism, so no problem. But I don't know.
Yeah, we're aware of that. We're just aware, but
Just the Eight Noble Path, they're aware of it.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Okay.
So.
Because when I teach mindfulness in this school, because I use the Western style of mindfulness, so most of people they don't know about what is his original history. So I had to make a very I had to make a chapter to show that why we come back to the Buddhism tradition is so important to know the mindfulness. So I just mentioned about the samasati, okay, and talking about the seven factor of enlightenment, okay. But maybe we can to this page, okay. I think it's very common to Buddhist, the Noble Eightfold Path, okay. The first one the Buddha ever said about if this world has the Noble Eightfold Path, and we will never lack of enlightenment. So the Noble Eightfold Path is very important. What is the Noble Eightfold Path? The first one, okay. Okay. The first one, the fourth is okay. 苦集灭道. Okay. Okay.
second paragraph.
Okay. Okay. It's an early summary of the path of Buddhist practice in leading to liberation from samsara, the painful cycle of rebirth. Okay. Here. The Eightfold Path consists of 8 practices: right view, okay, right resolve, right speech, and right conduct, right livelihood, and right efforts, and right mindfulness, and the right samadhi meditation. Okay, so I suppose all you know.
But not the Buddhist. This Noble Eightfold Path is quite complex. They just know the phrases and the basic meaning, but because it is, yeah. But anyway, it is too quite complex to go. They're giving you the terms, but really the meaning behind it, I don't think.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but they're giving you the terms.
Okay.
But anyway, probably something that you can skip.
Okay.
Yeah.
For example, maybe one day.
It is not easy. It is not easy. You won't be able to do it in just like that. There's Noble Eightfold.
Okay. The Noble Eightfold Path is very important to Buddhism. For example, maybe one day we want to take a travel to some place. I don't know in Philippines what kind of famous land or place is good to you to travel.
You can go to Buddha Museum in Kaohsiung.
Kaohsiung. Okay. Okay.
For example.
For example, one day we want to travel or want to take a sightseeing in Foguangshan. Okay. But if we don't have any idea about where is Foguangshan, can we go to there correctly? No. So the first one we have the right view.
Right view.
Yeah, we have right view, know the direction.
Knowledge. So view means
yeah.
knowledge.
know the direction where we go. So the Noble Eightfold Path, the first one, right view, is very important for those travelers, because we don't have a right view, we lose our way. We wander in the way and don't know go to where. Okay, but and the second element is the right result. What is the right result? Right result, sometimes it might be referred to the positive thinking. Right, positive thinking, because maybe the way to the purpose is very long and full of so many hindrances. When you meet the trouble, what do you do at that time? If you can keep the positive thinking, that will be help. So the right result is the positive thinking. Even sometimes we heard something worse, or some person who ever hurt me before. But if we had positive thinking, we can just pass the hindrance and continue to the way to the purpose. Okay. The right speech. Right speech we know very well. Good speech.
Like there's also false speech in that right speech. Yeah, it has a false speech or flattery speech. There's a lot of speech in this one that is not right speech in Buddhism. Yeah, so it's not just speaking honestly. It is also, if I'm flattering you, I may be saying the good things, but my thought, that's not right speech in Buddhism, yeah? So like those kind of things, the inner workings of these Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah, you said positive thinking, but the positive thinking is actually going to go into vow in Buddhism, yeah, because there's a firm resolve. You'll say, I will make about that right resolve. But that's the Buddhist, it's very detailed.
Okay. Okay. We also can. We know the Venerable Xing the Venerable Master Xing say the three goods. Good intention, good speech, good action. The term right result might be similar to the good intention. Good intention. Good right speech is good speech. Okay. Okay. And the right counter, good deed. Yeah, they are similar. Yeah, that also was included in the Noble Eightfold Path. So the right livelihood food, that means that we have a very good career or occupation. So if we sell the truck or we sell the machine gun, is that a good right livelihood? No, no. Okay. So the right efforts. Back to our topic. If you want to go to Fobongsan, you should drive a car and keep going. So that means the right efforts. Then you can go to the purpose we want to go. And the right mindful. Mindful is very important here because in the way of driving car, if you cannot keep awareness to watch yourself or to be aware of the surrounding, at that time maybe the car driving is very dangerous because your eye was closed. It's not closed. It's closed. So So the right mindfulness, it means that to be awareness everything in the moment. It can help you to be self, to care yourself and to care other. And then the last one is the right samadhi. It means that concentration or meditation. Concentration is very important because if we don't have a concentration mind, we can do nothing because we also have some mind. Okay, so the Noble Eightfold Path is very important for Buddhists. Okay. Then we're talking about the 37 Dharma elements. You're also talking about the mindfulness because in here, And it's very important, mindfulness. This is 37 elements of enlightenment, but he have a different kind of subsystem. Okay, here we can see about the mindfulness. You can see in the reference or the reference Satipatthana. Also, you can see in the 5 faculties and 5 powers and 7 section of enlightenment and the normal Eightfold Path. So the mindfulness is very crucial element for the way to enlightenment. Okay. So I just mentioned the mindfulness in the Buddhist tradition. Okay. Before we turn to the next session, do you want to take a short break? Okay, for 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay.